Revealed, how a German shepherd and a brave cop exposed the hidden truth behind her 7 broken ribs, in the quaint suburban town of Maplewood, where white picket fences framed the perfect lives of its residents. Sarah was an embodiment of fierce determination. Every afternoon felt like an uphill battle, working 2 jobs to keep the lights on for her 7-year-old daughter, Lily. But the weight of her struggles remained hidden beneath the surface, unseen by the warm smiles of neighbors who seemed blissfully unaware. As she fueled her relentless spirit with love. One ordinary afternoon, Sarah took Lily and their loyal German shepherd, Max, to the park. The sun beamed generously, and laughter filled the air. Sarah felt a fleeting moment of peace, a rare respite she craved. But then, as if sensing the storm brewing within her, Max suddenly lunged, barking with urgency. Panic seeped into the fold of the once joyful scene. In a devastating twist of fate, Sarah collapsed, unable to withstand the unrelenting pain concealed beneath her driven exterior. It wasn't mere exhaustion, it was 7 broken ribs, a grotesque reminder of an abusive situation she had desperately buried. Officer Jake, ever vigilant and compassionate, witnessed Max's distress. He rushed to her side, completely unaware of the deep-rooted turmoil clinging to Sarah like a shadow. As he knelt beside her, panic filled his heart. "Stay with me," he urged, cradling her head in his arms, while others began gathering, whispers echoing around them like the winds of change. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the aftermath of Sarah's collapse, truth began to unravel in web-like threads. The community, usually wrapped in its blanket of camaraderie, grappled with the harsh realities of economic disparity. Judgments lingered like a cloudy sky above them, as Sarah became a vessel of questions: who deserved help, and who was merely a reflection of their own brokenness. As Officer Jake delved deeper, he discovered the unthinkable: the perpetrator was a respected member of the town council. The double life of this seemingly virtuous figure shattered the facade of Maplewood, stirring a whirlwind of hurt feelings and divided loyalties among its residents. Sarah, who once sought to protect her daughter from ugly truths, now stood at a crossroads of justice and family loyalty. The town hall meeting loomed closer, a battleground for everything Sarah held dear. She couldn't hide from this revelation, nor could she protect Lily from the ripple effects. The clock ticked down to a pivotal moment, a choice that could redefine more than just her life, it could alter the very soul of Maplewood itself. Tension gripped the air as Sarah prepared for the confrontation ahead. With every breath, she knew she must summon unparalleled courage, not only for herself but for her daughter, her bright light in the swirl of darkness. What kind of mother would she be, if she remained silent now? As she steeled herself for what was to come, one burning question loomed: would the truth set her free, or would it ensnare her tighter than the bonds of fear that had restrained her for so long? The evening was thick with tension. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across Maplewood's streets, Sarah felt an insistent ache in her chest, not just from her physical wounds, but from the emotional turmoil brewing around her. She looked down at Lily, who was playing with Max in their small yard, blissfully unaware of the storm waiting to break. The soft laughter of her daughter provided a flicker of warmth against the cold reality Sarah faced. They were moments away from the town hall meeting, the place where secrets would be exposed, alliances tested, and hearts both broken and mended. The thought of standing before her neighbors, people she had known for years, filled her with dread. What would they think of her? Would they treat her like a pariah, or would they understand the courage it took to bring the truth to light? As Sarah took a deep breath, she recalled the words Officer Jake spoke to her earlier that day. "You're not alone in this," he had reassured her, his voice steady. "Sometimes, sharing your truth is the bravest thing you can do." The sincerity in his eyes had sparked something deep within her, a fire she thought had long died out, but in the silence of her home, Sarah felt doubt creep back in. What if revealing everything only brought more pain? Lily was counting on her to protect their little world. Yet, how could she shield her from the darkness if that darkness was the very life they lived? Lily bounded into the house, her tiny hands gripping a crumpled paper. "Mommy, look what I made," she exclaimed, showing off a drawing of their family with a big sun shining overhead. With each stroke of crayon, her daughter reminded Sarah of innocence, hope, and the belief that good things could happen. If only it were that simple. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Sarah said, forcing a smile. "We should hang it up for everyone to see." Lily's face lit up. "Can we hang it at the meeting? Maybe it will help everyone be happy." As Sarah watched her daughter's enthusiasm, the knot in her stomach loosened a bit. Perhaps there was a glimmer of truth in Lily's innocence. Perhaps this meeting could be more than just a confrontation, it could be a necessity for change. With trembling hands, Sarah grabbed her coat, knowing she had to embrace this moment for both their sakes. She reached for Lily's small hand, squeezing it tightly. "We're in this together, okay?" The drive to the meeting felt unbearably long, each turn amplifying the silence and uncertainty. But as they arrived and she opened the door to the town hall, Sarah felt a surge of resolve collide with her fear. The room was filled with familiar faces, some inquisitive, others uncertain, and a few cloaked in judgment. Her heart raced as she stepped forward, the murmurs subsiding. Eyes turned toward her, questioning, waiting. As much as the odds seemed stacked against her, she stood tall. Her voice trembled, but she was determined. "I have something to say, something that cannot remain hidden any longer." And in that moment, the air shifted, every heart in the room held its breath, and the weight of truth began to unravel. Just as Sarah reached for the words that could change everything, the doors slammed open, and a figure burst through, shattering the moment. It was Officer Jake, his expression a mix of urgency and alarm. "Wait. There's something you all need to know." What could possibly be so crucial at this moment? A chill ran down Sarah's spine as the room collectively gasped, uncertainty rippling through the crowd. Would this revelation threaten everything she had hoped to protect? Would the truth she was about to reveal still hold its ground in the whirlwind of new chaos? As eyes widened, Sarah steadied herself. This was just the beginning. Jake's voice echoed in the silent hall, puncturing the thick tension like a knife. "I know this might not be the right time," he began, his eyes scanning the room, locking onto Sarah's in a plea for understanding. "But it's crucial that everyone hears this." The murmur of surprise rippled through the crowd. They were used to town gossip, but not this intensity. Sarah's heart pounded louder, drowning out the whispers circling like vultures. Was this what she had feared? Would Officer Jake's urgency overshadow her moment? "I just got a call from dispatch," Jake continued, urgency climbing in his tone. "There's been a string of incidents reported across the county, abuse cases that are incredibly similar. We think they're all connected. And I'm afraid, Sarah, your case is part of it." He stepped closer to Sarah, becoming a shield. "You're not alone in this fight." The gravity of his words brightened her resolve, yet doubt still loomed. The townsfolk stared, their faces a kaleidoscope of concern, confusion, and empathy. What had this revelation meant for her? Would they see her as a victim, or would she be thrust into the spotlight of scandal? "Connected?" someone finally questioned from the crowd. Mary Jane, a woman known for her unwavering opinions, stood up, arms crossed. "What exactly are you implying?" Jackson turned his gaze to the woman, grounding himself before speaking. "There's a pattern in these reports, Mary. It's not just random acts of violence but calculated assaults. We have to believe that Sarah's story is vital to understanding this." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Her world, which felt so carefully constructed in its chaos, now trembled on the cusp of being torn down. She felt her daughter's hand tighten in hers, and that warmth ignited something deep within her, a sense of purpose. "I didn't mean to draw this attention," she said, finally finding her voice again, infused with new strength. But it's true. I was hurt. And it's essential we talk about it. It's not just about me, it's about everyone who can't speak up. Her heart raced, but she pushed forward. We can bring change if we stand together. Nods of agreement began to surface, slowly at first, then gaining momentum. It was a small spark, but suddenly the walls felt less confining. Whispers of support filled the air, weaving through the room like a lifeline. Sarah felt overwhelmed with emotion, but a flicker of hope emerged, the hope that perhaps they might rise above the darkness together. If we can break the silence, create a community that isn't afraid to stand up, maybe just maybe, things can change. Before she could finish, another voice cut in. It was Tom, the town's unofficial historian and a notorious skeptic. But what can we do? This isn't just about speaking, it's about action. People get scared, Sarah. They don't want to get involved. The tension hung there like a dark cloud, but Sarah took a step forward again, the weight of their eyes urging her on. But we're broken, Tom. We're already afraid, and we're already hurting. If we don't act, we're letting fear win. Who will stand for the next victim? Officer Jake reached out, placing a hand on Sarah's shoulder, and together they formed a united front. This is where we start. We begin by sharing those stories, one voice at a time. And I'll be here every step of the way. Suddenly, the door burst open again, sending a ripple of panic across the room. A woman, breathless and wild-eyed, staggered inside, gasping for air. "You can't stop this!" she shouted, her voice trembling with fervor. "You have no idea what you're messing with." Sarah's heart raced anew. Who was this woman? What did she know? The stakes had just risen, and the true battle was about to begin. As uncertainty flooded the hall, Sarah and Jake exchanged a glance, both aware that this was just the beginning of a much larger fight. Would they uncover the truth hidden beneath layers of fear? How many more lives were at stake? The weight of possibility hung heavy as the crowd held its breath, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. The woman's chaotic entrance threw a wave of confusion through the crowd. The murmurs turned to hushed gasps. Sarah's heart pounded. Here was someone, clearly terrified, yet brimming with a desperate warning. "Who are you?" Officer Jake stepped forward, instinctively putting himself between the stranger and Sarah. His posture was protective, a reminder that even amid chaos, he was there to defend her. The woman looked around wildly. Her eyes darted to each face as if searching for recognition. "My name is Rachel," she stuttered, finally locking eyes with Sarah. "I came here because I hoped someone would listen." Sarah's stomach twisted. It wasn't just Rachel's fear that gripped her, it was the flicker of understanding blooming between them, a shared knowing that cranked up the tension in the room. "You're here about the abuse cases?" Mary Jane interjected, her skepticism still evident. "What do you know?" Rachel took a shaky breath, drawing the crowd's focus. "They've threatened us. They know about our stories. They want to silence us, intimidate us into staying quiet. And when I tried to report it," her voice cracked, emotion spilling out. "I realized they're connected to something bigger." Jake's face went rigid. "What are you saying? Bigger? Like an organization?" "No," Rachel shook her head, her hair flying. "Not an organization. A person. Someone who has been moving through the shadows, pulling strings and hurting us without anyone realizing it." Shock registered across the faces in the room, but it was Sarah who felt the pull of urgency. Rachel had crossed a line into fear. A fear shared by countless others. "What do you mean, a person?" Sarah asked, her voice steady yet anxious. The room fell silent, gripping onto every word. Rachel looked around at the faces, the hope mixed with anxiety sparked a small flicker in her eyes. "There's a man he's known around town. He looks harmless, but he's dangerous. He's the reason for those broken bones. He's the one who made me afraid to speak." Every heartbeat in the room echoed the importance of her revelation, a heartbeat like a drum that kept a rhythm of rising tension. Sarah took a step toward Rachel, their connection stretched beyond mere words. "Who is he? We need to know." Rachel hesitated, her breath hitching. "I can't, I'm scared. If he finds out, listen to me," Jake's voice cut through with calm authority. "You're safe here. No one is going to hurt you. But you need to tell us everything." His reassurance seemed to pull Rachel back, grounding her slightly. "His name is David. He poses as a nice guy, but he's got a dark side. I've seen him with others. I thought they were just rumors until I witnessed it myself. I thought I could help them, but I barely escaped." Her voice trembled. "He does something even worse." A shiver raced down Sarah's spine. Her intuition screamed that Rachel wasn't just talking about broken ribs. "We need to protect each other," Sarah urged, feeling a swell of determination rise within her. "If what you're saying is true, we can't let fear silence us anymore." Tom scoffed from the back, still skeptical. "Sounds just like another conspiracy theory. What proof do we have?" But before Rachel could reply, a sharp knock at the door sliced through the air. The crowd tensed, glancing toward the sound. "Whoever's there, you need to leave now," Rachel called out, panic shifting back into her voice. "Open the door." A commanding voice echoed through the wooden planks. Jake's expression hardened. "Everyone stay calm." He stepped toward the door, his hand resting on his weapon. The collective breath of the room was held tight. Who was waiting on the other side? Sarah's heart drummed in her chest, equal parts terror and resolve. This was the moment where everything could unravel or change for the better. What truths lay hidden, and what dangers lurked just outside? As the door creaked open, Sarah felt the weight of the world pressing down. This was where their fight truly began. Would they find the answers or the end of their resolve? The door swung open slowly, revealing a figure clad in a dark trench coat. The dim light of the hallway behind him cast an eerie shadow across his face. He looked calm, almost too calm, and his eyes scanned the room, landing on Rachel. An unsettling smile curled his lips, making the hairs on the back of Sarah's neck stand up. "David," Rachel whispered, horror washing over her face. Jake stepped forward, blocking the entrance with his body, determination etched into every line of his expression. "You need to leave," he commanded, his voice unwavering. The intensity in the air thickened, the collective tension palpable. "We're not afraid of you." David chuckled softly, a sound that sent chills through Sarah's veins. "Is that right? I see you've gathered quite the little audience here." His gaze flitted over the crowd, lingering on faces filled with fear and curiosity. "But you misunderstand. I'm not here to make threats, not today." He leaned slightly, his demeanor unsettlingly smooth. "I was just looking for Rachel." "No!" Rachel shouted, her voice cracking. "You can't what?" He interrupted, stepping into the room, his presence growing more imposing. "Can't help? Can't remind you of the reality you're running from?" The room felt suffocated, breath stalled as David took another step forward. Before anyone could react, Sarah's childhood memories surged within her, the feeling of safety, the protection a brave soul could offer. Remembering Jake's fierce commitment reignited that spark. "Stay back," she blurted, her voice trembling but determined. "You don't scare us." David laughed again, but this time it was different. It was a mockery, a sound that bounced off the walls and ricocheted back like the echoes of despair he sowed. "It's cute how brave you all think you are. But bravery won't save you from the truth." He fixed his gaze on Rachel. "You know the truth, don't you? The truth I've kept you from all this time." Jake clenched his jaw, his eyes darting around the room, assessing the crowd. "Rachel," he urged with quiet force, "tell us what he means. We can't let him intimidate you." Her eyes filled with tears as David continued to loom. You think you can protect her? You think talking is going to change anything? I've made it very clear that speaking up has consequences. Suddenly, Rachel's resolve ignited. With a deep breath, she pointed a shaking finger at David. You're right, I do know the truth. And I'm ready to confront it. The crowd shifted, eyes wide with a mix of fear and admiration for Rachel's newfound courage. The energy in the room surged, solidifying their collective stand against this creeping darkness. David's demeanor shifted, a flash of irritation crossing his face. You think you can band together? You think strength in numbers works against someone like me? That's exactly what we're doing, Sarah shot back. We're not afraid of you anymore. You've controlled us for too long. The only thing that's ending today is your reign of terror. Jake took a step toward David, his voice low and steady. You need to leave. Now. David's eyes narrowed dangerously, and for a moment, the room held its breath, expecting an explosion of retaliation. Instead, he straightened his posture, a malicious smile creeping back into place. You're making a grave mistake. He turned to face the crowd, his voice dripping with a chilling calmness. But let us see how long your bravery lasts when the consequences begin to unfold. With that, he backed away, his eyes lingering on Rachel before he exited, leaving the room rife with a new kind of uncertainty. The door slammed shut behind him, sending an echo of finality through the air. The crowd stood frozen, the silence thick. Then, Jake moved back to Rachel's side, his expression resolute. You did great. But now we need to strategize. He can't get away with this. Rachel wiped her tears, her breathing steadying. I want to let him silence us again. As the resolve built among the crowd, a fierce camaraderie ignited, reminding them that unity could forge connections stronger than fear. Each of them had a role to play. Now, but just as hope flickered to life, a whimper from outside caught everyone's attention. A dog's bark pierced the tension like a bullet. Rachel's eyes widened. Could it be her old dog? And what could that mean for their fight? What secrets did this unexpected ally bring, and could it finally be the key to unraveling everything David had concealed? The sound of barking grew louder, cutting through the heavy silence that had settled in the room. Rachel's heart raced as she stepped toward the door, uncertainty mixing with a spark of hope. Was it really her old dog, Max, the one she thought she'd lost forever? The thought alone sent tingles through her. Rachel. Jake called, concern lacing his voice. Wait. It could be a trap. But she didn't hesitate. She slowly opened the door, the old hinges creaking like a warning. There, sitting in the dim light, was Max. He looked scruffy and worn, but his eyes were still bright with recognition. As soon as he saw Rachel, he sprang forward, tail wagging, barking joyously. Rachel knelt down, arms enveloping the dog, tears flowing freely as he licked her face. Max! Oh my God, it's really you. The moment felt surreal, a collision of memories flooding back of laughter and endless days spent together in the sun. Before everything had changed, the sounds from the crowd faded as she focused solely on her beloved companion. But even in her joy, a small voice in her head nagged, reminding her of David's threat. Had he sent Max back to taunt her or to deliver some kind of twisted message? Jake stepped up, carefully scanning the area, still on high alert. Is he okay? How did he even get here? Rachel scratched behind Max's ears, feeling a sense of warmth and safety wash over her. I don't know, but he must have found a way. He always was a fighter. Just then, something caught her eye. A scrap of paper was clutched in Max's collar, an envelope barely visible under the mud and dirt. Heart racing, Rachel carefully pulled it free. It felt thicker than a usual note. Her fingers trembled as she unfolded it. The handwriting was familiar yet almost unrecognizable, shaky and hurried. Rachel, if you're reading this, it means I'm in danger. David knows everything. He's coming for you too. You need to find the truth before it's too late. Look for the symbol, it will guide you. Jake leaned in, frowning. What's it say? Rachel's breath quickened as she read the note aloud, passing it to Jake. As they looked over it together, her mind began racing in circles. The symbol? What symbol? Suddenly, a flood of memories burst forth from her mind, the little trinkets she used to keep, treasures from her past. There was an old necklace, one adorned with a strange motif her grandmother had once worn. Could it be? She rummaged through her thoughts, piecing together scraps of a forgotten conversation about something big her family had hidden. There was something to do with a family heirloom. The crowd, feeling the tension once more, drew closer. What does it mean? Someone murmured, fear spilling into their expressions as uncertainty returned. As Max nudged at her hand, she snapped her gaze to him. There was something in his eyes, an urgency she felt resonating deeply within her. I think we need to search for that necklace. It might hold the key to unlocking the truth David is so desperate to suppress. The group exchanged glances, fear and determination mingling in their eyes. Each person in that room was beginning to understand they wouldn't just be confronting David but unraveling years of secrets. With a renewed sense of purpose, Rachel stood tall, shaking off her worries. They would face whatever lay ahead together. Let us do this, she declared, confidence breaking through as she ruffled Max's fur. We'll find the symbol and uncover everything. But as they began to strategize their search, a new sound echoed down the street, the unmistakable roar of a truck engine starting up, a sharp reminder that David's shadow still loomed large. Time is running out, Jake whispered, eyes darting to the window. We need to move now. The realization hung in the air, if they didn't act quickly, they might lose their chance to change everything. What would they discover about themselves and David's dark history? And would they be ready to face the truth, whatever it may be? Rachel felt a surge of adrenaline as the truck engine roared again, vibrating through the ground beneath her feet. She shared a quick glance with Jake, his eyes wide, mirroring her fear and determination. With Max by her side, a sense of clarity washed over her. Whatever they were about to discover was bigger than any of them had anticipated. Let us split up, Jake proposed, his voice steady despite the circumstances. If we cover more ground, we might find the necklace faster. The idea hung in the air, heavy with unspoken worries. Are you sure that's safe? Rachel asked, gnawing on her lip. She didn't want to be separated from them, not now. We don't have time. If David finds out we're onto something, Jake trailed off, knowing well enough what that could mean. The thought sent a chill climbing up Rachel's spine. With a heavy heart and a nod, Rachel agreed. Okay. We'll split up, but we stick to the main roads and keep our phones on. She felt a wave of responsibility settle on her shoulders, her friend's safety resting in her hands. As they planned their routes, a quick search of Rachel's childhood home for the necklace, while Jake and another friend scoured the local antique shops, Max barked, as if sensing the urgency in the air. You're right, boy, she said, offering him a reassuring pat. We'll get through this together. Rachel grabbed her coat, a mix of anxiety and excitement coursing through her, the same thrill that used to hit her during treasure hunts as a kid. She took a deep breath, her eyes darting to the door before stepping out. The night had a lingering darkness, but the stars peeked through, giving her confidence. As she headed down the sidewalk, she felt the weight of the world, but she also felt something else, the familiar tug of hope. After a few blocks, she approached her old house, the porch light barely flickering. The memories flooded back: family dinners, laughter, and whispered secrets about the hidden heirloom, the necklace her grandmother had once worn with pride. On the front porch, she hesitated, a heaviness in her chest. This was where it all began. The pain of loss swallowed her for a moment, but she pushed it down. This time, she was here to reclaim her past. She pushed the door open, and it creaked, echoing her heartbeat. Inside, the air smelled musty, a testament to years unvisited. Dust motes danced in the shafts of moonlight, and she felt the need to hurry. Moving through the familiar clutter, a forgotten trinket here, a stack of old letters there, she started rifling through drawers. Nothing but empty echoes of her childhood, but then something glimmered on the ground, catching her eye. Bending down, she picked up a small, elaborately carved box that had been hidden beneath a pile of debris. With gentle fingers, she brushed off the dust and opened it. Inside, nestled among faded photographs and dried flowers, gleamed the necklace adorned with the same odd symbol from the note. Rachel's breath hitched. This had to be it. As her fingers traced the delicate patterns, a sense of affirmation surged through her. She slipped the necklace around her neck, the cool metal resting against her skin. Just then, a sound outside made her freeze. Footsteps, heavy ones, advancing towards the house. Her heart raced, pulse pounding in her ears. Had David followed them? Was it too late? She dashed to the window, heart pounding. Peering through the glass, she caught sight of shadows in the moonlight. The truck parked menacingly by the curb. 4 figures stepped out, looking around. They were not just looking for her, they were searching, hunting. Rachel's mind raced as fear knotted in her stomach. She needed to get out. They had to get out, and fast. Just as her pulse quickened with a new resolve, a frantic bark echoed behind her. Max stood at the door, alert and ready, a protector as always. They were no longer just seeking the truth. They were about to face danger head-on. What would happen if they were caught? Would David's dark past come to light in a way they never anticipated? Knowing they had only moments, she grabbed her phone, dialing Jake. "Get out. They're here." The call cut off as the door burst open. What came through that doorway would change everything. Would Rachel's bravery be enough to keep them safe, or had they unknowingly walked into a trap? The door flew open, and Rachel's breath hitched as the figures poured into the small, dimly lit room. They were cloaked in shadow, their faces obscured, but one silhouette moved with a menacing purpose that made her heart pound harder. "Rachel!" A voice boomed, echoing through the stillness. It was David, and the sharpness in his tone sent a ripple of dread through her. "What are you doing here?" She stepped back, gripping the box tightly, the lost necklace pressing against her chest, a symbol of her family, her past, and now, a potential target. Max growled softly, a low rumble of warning that heightened the tension in the air. Rachel knew she had to stay calm, but fear sent adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Get out!" Rachel yelled, her voice shaking but defiant. "You have no right to be here. This is my home." David's eyes narrowed, and he took a step forward, the other figures shifting behind him like a pack moving in for the kill. "You don't know what you're playing with, Rachel. That necklace is mine." She interjected, her mind racing. She couldn't let him intimidate her. She wouldn't abandon the only connection she had left to her grandmother, the only thing holding her family history together. The tension was palpable as Rachel and David faced off, a battle of wills in the dim room. "You have no idea what you've uncovered. This isn't just about the necklace," he sneered, glancing at his companions, who lingered at the doorway like ominous shadows. "It's bigger than that. It involves all of us." "What do you mean?" Rachel's voice vibrated with confusion and anger. She took another step back, edging closer to Max. "What have you done?" In that moment, Jake's voice called from the darkness outside. "Rachel! We need to go." Her heart leaped at hearing him. "Jake, help!" she shouted, knowing the danger was imminent. She had no time to think as she crouched, drawing Max closer, ready to flee. David's expression flickered, a hint of panic beneath the bravado. "You think you can just take off?" With Jake's footsteps approaching, a calmness washed over Rachel, fueled by the belief that they could confront this together. "Yes, I can. And you're not going to stop us." Max lunged, barking ferociously as if he sensed the danger looming. That was the cue Rachel needed. She dashed to the side door, Max barking in tandem, barking fiercely with a protectiveness that gave her strength. She felt the cool metal of the necklace against her skin as she sprinted towards the exit, but just as freedom seemed within reach, one of David's friends blocked her path, and Rachel skidded to a stop. "You're not going anywhere," he snarled, raising a hand like he intended to grab her. "Jake!" She screamed again, her voice breaking with the weight of terror and desperation. The front door burst open wider, and Jake, breathless and wild-eyed, charged in with determination. "What the hell is going on?" Before Rachel could respond, David shoved past the friend who had blocked her, his face a mask of fury. "This ends here." Every moment felt suspended in time as Rachel realized the stakes had risen beyond what she had imagined. They were caught in a web of secrets that threatened not only her but everyone she loved. "Stay behind me!" Jake shouted, positioning himself in front of Rachel and Max, eyes narrowed into a fierce glare at David. The air crackled with tension, each person waiting for the other to make the first move. Rachel's heart raced not just from fear, but from the realization that this was about more than just a necklace. Would the past, tangled in lies and betrayal, finally come to light tonight? As she studied the faces around her, questions bubbled up, and a sense of urgency swept over her. "Why are you really after it, David?" she demanded, feeling a flicker of courage surge within her. In the charged silence, she felt the weight of her choices. The answer was lurking in the shadows of their past. Would it bring them closer to the truth or tear them apart forever? This was only the beginning, and she didn't know where it would lead. But she felt Max's reassuring presence at her side and the solidarity in Jake's stance, ready for whatever came next. In that moment, the stakes heightened, and with a single word, the real battle had just begun. Rachel's heart raced, each beat a thunderous reminder of the chaos that surrounded her. Everything felt so fragile, like a glass teetering on the edge of a table. She felt the necklace hot against her skin, a link to her family, to her history, and now, possibly, a liability. "David, just tell me what you want," she shouted, her voice tinged with desperation. She had to know her family's legacy was hanging in the balance. His silence only fed the shadows of doubt swirling in her mind. Jake didn't move an inch, his stance unwavering like a wall built to protect her. The tension in the room was a rubber band stretched taut, ready to snap. David's friends shifted nervously, the uncertainty palpable. "I want what's rightfully mine," David finally spoke, his voice low and dangerous, "and you have no clue what you've gotten yourself into." "Enough games," Jake barked, stepping forward. "You've already crossed a line by coming here. Back off." Rachel felt a flicker of anger. How dare David try to intimidate them? "You think this is just about the necklace? This represents my family's history, our secrets," she exclaimed, her voice gaining strength. "You have no right to interfere." David's expression twisted into a smug grin. "Oh, but you're wrong. It's all connected. Not just the necklace, Rachel. The history, the families, even your grandmother's mistakes." She felt as if the air had been sucked from the room, the truth wrapped around her like a thick fog. "What do you know about my grandmother?" Before David could respond, Jake took another step closer, fists clenched, ready to fight. "Rachel, you don't need to hear any more of this. It's not worth it," he said sharply. But it was too late. She needed answers, and she wouldn't back down. "Tell me," she insisted, desperation creeping into her voice again. David's gaze flicked to his companions. There was a certain gleam in his eye, as though he was savoring the moment. "Your grandmother was involved in things you wouldn't believe. Things best left buried. That necklace is the key." "What things?" Rachel pressed, urgency seeped into her words. Before he could reply, one of David's friends, a tall man with unkempt hair, stepped forward. "Rachel, you need to listen to him. What he is saying could save you," he said, his voice breaking slightly. Save me? Rachel scoffed. By threatening my family's legacy? You think I'd just hand that over? Maybe you should think about what it means to have it, he said, his eyes darting to David, then back to her. Rachel was lost in the confusion swirling around her. It felt like she was being pulled into a deeper mystery, one that had roots reaching far back into her family's past. Could there be truth in what they said? Keep talking, she challenged, her heart pounding hard. She needed to know, David smirked, sensing her hesitation. Your grandmother made deals with people who didn't play fair. The necklace is a bargaining chip. And your ignorance of it all only makes you a pawn in a much larger game. You're playing with fire, Rachel. Max growled, sensing tension growing. Rachel touched his head, urging calmness. You're trying to scare me? It won't work. Jake stepped forward, eyes blazing. Stop. If any of this is true, we need to find out what really happened. What are you suggesting? Rachel asked, a flutter of hope mixed with fear igniting within her. We dig deeper, Jake replied, determination lacing his words. We uncover the truth, together. Together? Rachel whispered, her heart softening at the thought. Facing all this, the idea of friendship made her feel less alone, the moment hung heavy with significance. They could either confront the darkness of her past or hide from it. As their gazes shifted back to David, Rachel felt ready to stand firm. The truth couldn't stay hidden any longer. Let us find out, she said, her voice steadier than before. David's laugh echoed ominously, you won't like what you discover. And you won't get what you came here for, Jake retorted, with the storm building. Rachel felt as if they were standing at the edge of something monumental. Right then, she realized they weren't just fighting over a necklace, they were battling for the truth buried beneath layers of family secrets. As the confrontation loomed ahead, Rachel's pulse raced with both fear and resolve. Would uncovering the truth bring them closer or plunge them into danger they couldn't escape? With that thought hanging in the air, the real fight for her family's legacy was about to begin. Would they emerge victorious, or would they fall prey to the shadows of the past? The chaos within the small room felt like a storm on the verge of erupting. Rachel stood firm, her heart pounding like a war drum, each beat echoing with the weight of her family's dark legacy. David's laughter faded, but his smirk lingered like a taunt, daring her to back down, but she wouldn't. Not now. Not ever again. Let us find out, Rachel repeated, voice strong despite the tremor in her soul. This isn't just about the necklace. It's about everything you've hidden. Jake's eyes were fierce, filled with unwavering support. We take this fight to the streets if we have to. Truth isn't something he can just take away. David's friends shifted uncomfortably, sensing that they might be on the wrong side of history. One of them, the tall one with the unkempt hair, stepped back slightly, guilt flickering across his face. You really think you can expose this and not pay the price? He asked, a hint of worry in his eyes. It doesn't matter what the price is, Rachel declared, determined. And you have the chance to make it right instead of living in fear. This is your chance too. Come with us. The tall man exchanged glances with David, then looked back at Rachel. You don't know what you're asking. Actually, I do, Rachel countered, her voice steady. We can free ourselves from the shadows. No more fear, no more silence. No more secrets. Jake stepped forward, placing a protective hand on Rachel's shoulder. Let us stop being puppets. We don't want your life to be controlled by David or anyone else, do we? Let us work together, or walk away. The choice is yours. David sneered, but the confidence in Rachel's voice had cracked his facade. You're making a terrible mistake. Rachel felt a surge of defiance. No, David, it's you who is mistaken if you think we'll back down. Just then, outside in the night, headlights flooded the area, momentarily blinding them. Rachel's heart raced with renewed fear as she realized it could be more of David's men, but then Jake's quick glance reassured her. "Stay close," he whispered, readying himself as the door creaked ominously again. Before they could brace themselves, a familiar figure stepped into view. Max, their faithful German shepherd, barked wildly, followed by a trail of voices. The cavalry had arrived. Officer Jake, who had been keeping watch, was directly behind him, flanked by a few other officers. "Rachel. We're here. Are you okay?" Officer Jake shouted, pushing toward them, eyes locking onto David. "Get out now, while you still can." Rachel shouted, her voice gravelly with urgency. "It's dangerous." "Rachel." David cried out, fear creeping into his tone. "You're making a mistake by involving the cops. They want to save you." "Enough." Officer Jake's voice boomed, stepping forward, blue uniform shimmering under the harsh light. "You've crossed the line. Leave or face consequences." The air crackled with electricity. David's mask of bravado slipped, revealing cracks of fear simmering beneath. Rachel's breath held in her chest, heart racing toward the climax she knew was inevitable. "You think I'm afraid of them?" David snarled, trying to regain control. "You little girls don't understand the game you're playing." Rachel felt strength rising inside her. "We do understand, David. We understand just how weak you truly are. Your power depends on everyone being too afraid to stand together." The officers moved as a solid line, ready to protect Rachel and her newfound allies. In that moment, the courage from her friends behind her, a force that radiated strength, broke through the last vestiges of fear she felt. No matter the outcome, they were bound together now, and the truth would shine brighter than any fear. With a snarl, David turned to his friends, desperation leading his actions. "Let us go," he said sharply. "This isn't over." As they exited, the weight of the moment swirled around Rachel. She had taken a step into the light, breaking free from David's grip and forging a path toward a future not defined by secrets. Together, with Jake and Max standing resolutely beside her, she felt an overwhelming sense of power surge through her. Applause erupted in the background as the bystanders' neighbors, once unaware, finally moved into the light of the truth that had been hidden for so long. They understood now. They saw the destruction born from complacency. It was time to come together as a town, a community willing to fight for justice rather than bury the truth under shame and silence. Together, Rachel whispered, knowing they had changed the course of their lives and their community forever. As the officers began their investigation, Sarah felt the warmth of hope enveloping her heart. The darkness was far from over, and yes, the prize would come at a cost, but it was a cost she was finally willing to pay. "Let us share our stories," Rachel urged, now driven by newfound purpose. "This isn't just about me, or Lily, or even any of us standing here. It's about all those who are broken, who feel alone. Together, we can put an end to this cycle." Applause filled the room again, the atmosphere electric with possibilities unfurling ahead. They had planted the seeds of change, and for the first time, Rachel felt the light of hope beckoning. "Let us get to work, shall we?" Jake said, ushering them toward their next steps, both figuratively and literally, as the world ahead shimmered with promise. It wasn't merely an ending, it was a beginning, one filled with determination, honesty, and the unity of a town ready to heal together. And as Rachel glanced down at Max, his loyal gaze steady as ever, she knew one thing was for sure: the fight for truth may be hard, but together, they would rise. Now it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to the channel for exclusive stories that inspire real change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the momentum going. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this powerful ending. Let your voice be heard. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let us make a difference together.